Hello, my new friends, and my old friends, and my friends that have yet to come. I don't know. I don't have a catchy intro yet, but today I thought I would talk about my functional report for my Social Security disability application, which I'm in the process of doing. I was told to start this application, I think almost 3 years ago, in November 2017, when I first got my diagnosis for myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is also known as chronic fatigue syndrome. And I don't know, I think probably like any early 30s person who is being told they have a chronic disability, at first I was like, no thanks, we're gonna figure this out. Her intention was to go ahead and start it because it takes several years to get it going. And yeah, I should have listened to that, but I didn't. So here we are, 3 years later, and a couple months into the process. So already I'm going to link below the Sleepy Girl's Guide to Disability, which is a fantastic blog, but very difficult to navigate for anybody who has a cognitive problem, because it's just like rabbit hole after rabbit hole of information. However, my husband was able to sift through it and like get some nuggets of good things to do from it. So I will link it below because it has been significantly helpful to us. We got this big bucket of medical records, and I'm going to do another picture like right there because I think that's really cool. It makes me look really fancy, even though it's a really simple editing tool. That is 3 years worth of medical records, and it is currently sitting and having already been received at the Social Security Administration office. And I have two, what are they called? Residual functional capacity, I think, forms that were filled out. One was filled out in 2018 by said doctor that wanted me to go ahead and start the disability in 2017, and another one filled out from my general practitioner, and that addresses a lot of the same questions that are in this functional report that I now get to fill out. And I thought I would talk through a couple of these things because, I mean, I had to approach it with humor, like I really did. And I wish that I could put my humorous responses down for the poor Social Security Administration, whoever it is that's assigned to my case, that has to read the same thing over and over. I mean, I feel like the intention is, we're going to ask you this question 5 times a different way to see if one day you slip up and we can go, aha, you're really not disabled. We're not going to give you your money. Which, I mean, I know I should feel grateful that this program exists in my country to begin with. But yeah. So the very beginning of this form asks things like, are you caring for another individual other than yourself? And some of these are difficult to answer because, like, for example, it asks if I care for a child or a pet. And yes, I have a child and I have 2 pets, but I am not the one that is taking care of them. And having to put down on your form that you really don't actually take care of your child is hard. I'm there, I'm present for her, she knows I love her, but like a lot of her day in and day out care I can't do with any regularity, which is part of what the stress of what happened with Steven when he had to take his leave of absence is. He pretty much has to act like a single dad a lot of the time because I'm either incapacitated or resting, or they're allowing me to rest so I can, do something simple like read to her so I don't bathe her, so I can actually like read to her and have a relationship with her. So yeah, some of these are not so fun. I'm gonna skip that because who wants to watch that? But I will tell you what this form some of the things that it asks about personal care, and to give you an idea of how I answered that, I'm choosing to make a YouTube video instead of washing my hair. So you're welcome. You get to see this goodness. There's also like no makeup, and there's very soft lighting because there's no filter to fix this. And it asks about your sleep. Can you feed yourself? Can you shave? And like, I mean, let's talk about shaving, ladies. Let's talk about shaving, because I cannot seem to get through the stubble phase of like the stubble on the sheets and the texture, and like that is just awful. So no, I don't shave myself. My husband shaves my legs for me because I can't do that texture. Somebody tell me there's an answer to that. Which is probably like, hey, grow out your leg hair, but like I can't get past that point. Yeah. Anyway, other fun things like, can you use the toilet? I mean, everybody likes to talk about the number of times they didn't make it, right? Yep. Meal prep, house and yard work. Yeah, I wish. Gosh, I mean, I do actually. I wish I could garden. My caregiver planted some fresh herbs. Now I would just like to be able to cook and use them, but she uses them, so that's awesome. How I'm able to get around, like how many times I'm able to leave the house and stuff like that. But let's talk about shopping, right? I mean, okay, this is all in jest. Can we say this? I recognize that they're asking like, do you have the cognitive ability to see that you are out of shampoo and you need to order shampoo? And this was not an issue with shampoo. This was an issue with energy and taping off a port and hanging your head upside down. And yeah. So they ask me, if I do any shopping, how do I shop? In stores, by phone, by mail, or by computer? Does anybody else want to admit how often they shop by computer? You know, because if you saw how much online shopping I did, you probably, yeah, nobody wants to admit that. Yes, I shop online for yarn. And then it asks like, well, what do you shop for? Yarn. And how often do you shop and how long does it take? Well, it depends on whether or not I have a pattern, whether or not I'm shopping by weight or color or fiber or yeah, I know that's not what they're asking, Betsy. You're being a little smarty pants. Yeah, okay, and so they leave you one line to explain what you're shopping for. So yeah, I mean, how can you sum up what you shop for in one line? So I just said household necessities. Because yarn is a necessity. Am I right or am I right? Yes. Can you keep up with money? Clearly not, or I wouldn't have near as big of a yarn stash. All right, then we get to hobbies. Let's talk hobbies, shall we? Oh, the hobby section. What are your hobbies and interests? And just in case you wanted to know, I get 2 whole lines to tell them about my hobbies. I get 1 line to tell them, you know, what the changes in my cooking habits are. But I get 2 lines to tell them all about my hobbies. Yay. And it says, for example, reading, watching TV, sewing, playing sports, etc. And then, wait for it, and asks me how well I do these things. And I just wanted to let you know, I am a stellar TV watcher. Like, I'm so good at it. Actually, I'm much better at watching YouTube If I was totally honest, I am so much better at watching YouTube than I am my actual TV. But I don't think you could find a better TV watcher. Just in case you wanted to know how well I do these things. And of course I put crochet on here because I had to put crochet on here. But let's also talk about how many times I have had to rip out this cowl. Like several times, because guess who can't read the pattern? And the number of questions I have asked Carissa Knits, who made this lovely descent cowl pattern, that she has returned very simple, like clarified, I don't know how I can make it any plainer in the pattern, but I'm going to be super sweet and answer your question anyway. God bless her. At some point I finally just said, look, I have a chronic illness. And sometimes that just means it just doesn't make sense. So I think I'm actually, instead of bugging you with questions, I think I'm just gonna put this away until I can read again. Oh yeah. Like that really tells you my cognitive ability right there. You know, like I read it. It told me to single crochet in every stitch. And I still did exactly what I was supposed to do the round before because it didn't compute. This is why, well, yeah. Okay. Social activities. This is another fun one. I talk to strangers on internet platforms. And it's not just you guys. Although I'm very honored to call you my friends and my social activity. I video chat a lot on Marco Polo with other sick people. And I don't just mean like sick souls. I mean like other people with chronic illnesses. I've got the giggles. I got the giggles. Yeah. So it asks you, how do you spend time with others? In person, on the phone, email, texting, mail. Yeah. So, hi. How often do I do these things? Yeah, I mean, I don't leave the house. So all my friends are, I mean, even my local friends, for years, I had never met in person. Most of them I end up meeting in person because we coordinate our doctor's appointments because we're that cool. No kidding. One of my very best friends that I have known for 3 years, who is also very sick, I met for the first time last February at a doctor's appointment. We scheduled our infusions and blood draws at the same time. There is something wrong with that. Yeah, okay. Do you need to be reminded to go places? I mean, I need to be reminded to go to the bathroom. You know, and part of me just wants to fill this questionnaire out like that, just to see if somebody reads it, and to give that poor person at the Social Security Administration like something to laugh about that day and have a good time. Maybe I'll send them the link to this video and be like, if you want to know how I really wanted to answer. No, I'm kidding. Jeez. Then they'd probably tell me I could have a job if I could have a YouTube channel. Yeah, you guys don't really care about quality control. You just hit a thumbs down if you don't like it. So you can't fire me. You just choose not to watch my videos. Lifting, squatting, bending, standing, reaching, walking, sitting, kneeling, talking, hearing, stair climbing, seeing, memory, completing tasks, concentration, understanding, following instructions, using hands, and getting along well with others. Well, that depends on who you ask. But then it gives me 3 lines to explain 16 of those symptoms that I checked. So, yeah. And just in case you wondered, it asks if I'm right-handed or left-handed, and I am right-handed, which significantly reduces my ability to use my left hand, just like the rest of the world. Oh man. There's a bunch of other questions on here that my doctors have filled out that I need to fill out. I mean, I don't know. I just I didn't ask about my mobility aids. Anyway, it all feels so very invasive, and I know it has to be. And if I honestly, like, if I couldn't approach it with this sort of humor, I think I would just sit down and cry at my lack of ability. So let's just sit here and laugh together. How's that? All right. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, it's just really weird to talk about how poorly I do things. I have a really hard time on these Social Security application things not to sugarcoat things and make them sound better than they actually are, because that's not the point, right? The point is to prove that you actually can't function in life. And that's hard. So let's all have a nice little laugh about it. And yeah, if you have any fun answers about your extraordinary hobbies, are you also a 9 out of 10 stellar TV watcher? Please leave that in the comments so I don't feel so alone. Clearly, you are a stellar YouTube watcher because you found this channel. Now, if you really want to be an awesome YouTube watcher, subscribe to my channel and give this video a big thumbs up. And then you'll get 10 out of 10 for your YouTube functional capacity. Don't forget to laugh a little bit every day. It's the best medicine. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stop recording. I pressed stop.